Blaster is done. We're at this little sand pit here. The goal of today is to just rip around, you know, put it through the paces. I've got 3 heat cycles on it, about an hour worth of time. And I think today we can do a couple of clutch dumps and rip it a little bit. The idea is to make sure that everything is cool, the tie rods are adjusted properly. If we have to do any jetting, any little tweaking and stuff, this is kind of like a break-in ride. So I don't know how hard we're gonna be going today, but I'm just really looking forward to rip this thing, man. Enough talking, man. But before you watch me rip this thing, you gotta hit that subscribe button, man. Come on, thumbs up and subscribe. I don't even know. Oh man, here we go. I am like super excited to ride. It has been so long. This is a fun little sand pit. And we're gonna stay right by the truck so that if anything does happen, you can just push it right in there. You don't have to worry about it, you know, pushing it like miles home. Track. Want to make sure this thing warms up before we beat on it. But it's all like sugar sand and whoops and berms. Man, I want to just dump the clutch and rip this, but definitely want to wait a minute or two for this to warm up. These Chinese components, man. Do not want to push them too hard, that is for sure. Alright, we're warming up a little bit here. I don't expect it to be a beast or anything, but it pulls good, dude. I gotta be careful on these loops too. The suspension kind of sucks. Kind of reminds me of a 125. You can't lazy shift it. It just doesn't have the power. But in the power band, it feels pretty good. I mean, it feels pretty damn good, dude. Yeah, blasted. Surprised it actually handles those whoops pretty well. Boogie's pretty good, dude.
this trail tech is accurate. I was just looking at it. Right now it says we're going 9, 10, 7, 6, 5. Then it just jumps around a little bit. Alright, let's jump right to a second gear launch. Our boot's falling off here. That's not good. We're holding it wide open for pretty long periods of time, and we're in the sand, so this is not like ultra demanding, but this isn't the easiest territory to put a quad in, so I'm happy that the Chinese top end so far is holding up. Very good, very good. That sounds good. I think we're on the money with the jet. Got a 260 main in there and a stock Pilot, 32.5 I think it is. So this has completely stock suspension. The engine is practically stock. The only thing we have is the FMF pipe. No porting, no anything. And it's got one of those Chinese $135 top end on it. It comes from top-notch parts. It comes with the carburetor and everything. I'm not actually running the carb, but everything else I'm running. Doing a little bit of R&D. So far, it seems to be running good, but the longevity is really what I want to see out of this thing. I'd like to put 50 to 100 hours on it and see how it is then. Those whoops are fun when you hit them just right. I think right about here will be a cool shot. It really does feel good. Like everything is very tight. It would definitely help if it had suspension. But honestly, like, you can be pretty competitive with the power that it has. You just really have to know how to ride a two-stroke and keep it in the power band. Otherwise, it's really not that fast. But it's definitely a really fun machine. That bogging power there. Whew. You have to shift down. This thing is fun, dude. Trail Tech we're gonna have to do some work on. I haven't really touched it. I just kind of was like, we'll ride, and if it works, it works. Man, I'm actually getting pretty hot. It's like 65, 70 degrees out right now. Yesterday it was only 35. Great day for riding, but because we're coming from such cold weather, it really feels, today feels like 100 freaking degrees, man. Dude, we are balls out on that straightaway every time. All right, let's do one launch on hard pack, and that'll be it. Second gear. Might have to do first gear. That surprises me. It's really, the ground's pretty sticky here. These tires are great, dude. These Kendas. It's an odd feel being on this quad because it's very, very tight, very small, too big for it really. And like even leaning forward, like my knees are up against the plastics and stuff. I'm gonna have to work on that. that was a boatload of fun. Whew. I think that's gonna be it for today. Whew. Man. Oh man, that was hella fun. We had one casualty. We lost our shifter boot. I had a feeling that was gonna happen. I kept having to try to fix it. Dude, it's unbelievable how freaking light this thing is. It's awesome.
Well guys, first ride is in the books. The GoPro said about an hour it was running pretty much the whole time we were ripping. The only time I was slowing down was to move the camera. So I'd say we got a good 45, 50 minutes of, I would consider that pretty hard ripping. I mean, we had the RPMs up there pretty high. For this thing, I'm pretty stoked, dude. A couple times I even rang it out like extra because I want to see if it's gonna blow up, dude. We're gonna be pushing this thing to the freaking max in top quad. I'd rather it break here than have it break out there. So pretty happy with that so far. No casualties besides the shift boot, but really we'll know when we get home and we clean it off. It actually didn't get that dirty, but let's get home, I'll clean it off and go over the budget. Are you tired of paying big bucks for inaccurate chassis dynos and engine dynos? Me too. Here at Basket Case Garage, we've solved that issue with the ass dyno. This Banshee made 900 horsepower on our ass dyno. Certified ass dyno technicians such as myself help take the inaccuracies of other systems out of the equation. Let's get into it. Now, as you can see from the original dyno from before the restoration, we were pretty dang spot on. We'll be using blue, and then we're going to switch to gold in the future when we switch this thing to a 240 kit. Now, I have to say I'm quite impressed. I'd say that the power comes on actually pretty relatively early. And then it suddenly will get the power band pretty early on. And dare I say, this machine probably realistically makes, I'm gonna say between the low 20s. I don't know that it would quite hit 25. And then it carries off, and the over rev is not the greatest, but it does hang for a little bit. I would honestly say we're probably pretty close here. Maybe the RPMs aren't quite as high, but pretty damn good showing for this stock Yamaha blaster with Chinese parts. And this would also make sense for what we were saying about a stock Yamaha Banshee, because a stock Yamaha Banshee has in the low 30s. So if we're making mid 20s on a machine that's only about 320 pounds, quite a bit lighter than a Banshee, I do, dare I say, think that this could be it. And that is your certified ass dyno. I wanted to stop to thank you guys for making it this far into the video. I also wanted to remind you guys that this blaster is going to be featured in the next series of Top Quad. Top Quad is a series with multiple creators where we take machines and put them head to head. This year we'll be doing a mid-size sport quad shootout. We've got the Kawasaki Lakota 300, this Yamaha Blaster 200, a Trailblazer 250, and a Honda 300EX. All the machines will have similar mods, we'll have multiple riders, and each rider will pick a machine at random before each event. It's going to be a ton of fun, and I hope to see you guys there. If you're enjoying this video so far, giving the video a thumbs up, subscribing to my channel, and commenting all help a ton. All products and tools will be listed in the description below. Purchasing from those links does help me out. It gives me a small kickback, and there's no extra cost for you. And if you're looking for a way to support the channel even further, there is the option to join. All channel members get guaranteed responses to their YouTube comments. I'd also like to thank the companies that helped to make Project Blaster possible: Bonehead Performance Coatings, Kenda Tires, Rocky Mountain ATV, Ramosi Throttles, Rocket Ron Racing, DRW Performance, Moto Blast, Zoom Zoom Parts, Power Sports Nation, and Vito's Performance. These are all companies that I trust, and most of them I use on a regular basis. Any applicable promo codes and links to their websites will be listed in the description below. All right, guys, let's get back to building this blaster. We're back in the garage, and this thing cleaned up absolutely beautifully. I tried a new method here where I took SC1 and sprayed up under the fenders and kind of on like everything before I even went out riding, and I think that really helped with making this thing very easy to clean off. We're gonna get to the budget in just a second here, but before I do that, a quick post first ride review. This thing rips, dude. This is gonna be an unpopular opinion, and the only reason I'm saying this is because there were a couple comments that people said, is it faster than a stock Banshee? And that's before they even saw it run and everything. This is definitely gonna be an unpopular opinion. I think piped, this blaster could give a stock Banshee a run for its money. And when I say stock Banshee, I mean a non-piped Banshee. If you put the same stuff, if you put FMF pipes on a Banshee and jet it right and remove the airbox lid, I'm gonna say the Banshee is pretty easily gonna take the cake. But a bone stock Banshee, I honestly think this blaster it's got a shot. The rest of the machine is set up really nice. This is one of the few times that I've actually completely been done and not too many things want to be changed. Usually there's like something where it's like, okay, we're gonna have to change that, we're gonna have to adjust the suspension, we'll have to do this, but this time around it's pretty good. Just a couple things really. The shifter needs to be addressed. The boot came off of there and the shifter is actually a little bit too long. Front brakes still need to be bled a little bit, and then we just need to adjust the trail tech, but otherwise it's pretty much good to go. I also wanted to show you guys, if you remember in the video building this thing, which if you haven't seen that, you gotta go back and check it out. The build on this thing is freaking awesome. But I was running the airbox lid and it was just choked down like tremendously. So what I've decided to do, because we're gonna be doing some water runs and stuff with this, and I wanna make sure that this is at least mostly safe. What I decided to do is I kept the airbox off and I made this splash guard right here. This is a piece of rubber. I forget how thick it is. It's less than 1/4 of an inch, but it's not very, it's bigger than 1/8 of an inch and it's smaller than 1/4 of an inch, whatever the hell that is, 3/8 of an inch. That's how thick this is. It's a pretty nice piece of rubber. It was like $5 on Amazon. And I just kind of cut it so that it fits the contours and stuff. And that way, you know, water and stuff could get up underneath before and then fill this compartment. And it looks like it did a pretty good job. I don't really see any dirt at all in here, and I didn't even clean that section out. Now the foot peg situation is gonna be an easy fix. So you can see that little rubber boot thing fell off, no problem. I've used these on several other builds. They're called shift toes. I think these were 12 bucks for 2, so it's like $6 a piece. And you can see there's an Allen head that goes on the back. And basically, I'm gonna chop this off, weld a small little piece on there, and this is too long anyways. I measured the stock Banshee. Because I like the distance that the stock Banshee is, and that's about 5¼ inches, and this is like 6¼ So I'm gonna bring it back to about here, and then we'll put this knurled one on. This is a nice one. And it'll completely solve that whole, I don't like those rubber boots anyways, they pop off. And one other thing, because I know people are gonna ask, I'm about 5'10", 225, so I'm a full-grown adult. This is a kid's quad, so you have to consider, if you put a kid that's like 135, 150 pounds around there, this thing would absolutely rip. I mean, it had no problem hauling my fat ass around. It's pretty impressive. All right, let's hop over to the computer and see what it costs to make this thing. Welcome to the office. All right, let's hop on the computer here. I've got this spreadsheet pulled up. I tried to keep this as organized as I possibly could. We've got 2004 Yamaha Blaster, and all the items are listed here. We've got 69 items. Nice. Anyways, I have all the individual pieces here. I'm not gonna go over everything. If you guys do wanna see this entire breakdown, I do have my website up and running. I'm still working on it, so it's pretty primitive, but you can see I've got the Blaster merch right there in the front. But what's really cool is if you go to this section right here and click builds, all of the bikes are listed right here, all of the previous builds, not all of them, so there's quite a few are missing. So this is in progress. I'm still working on this, but if you see right here, if you click parts list, you've got all of the parts listed here, and there are links to everything. And then here's all the tools used in the project, sponsors, stuff like that. If there's any applicable promo codes or anything, they'll be listed below there too. But I try to keep it really, really nice and organized. And also if you go here, you can see it says full video series. If you click that, it takes you to the playlist showing you all of the videos that include that build. So check the website out. I will be updating that as things progress. I'm just kind of slowly chipping away at that. It's quite a bit of work. I wanted to give my buddy Connor a huge shout out for helping me out with this, because if I had to do it on my own, it would probably never happen. So anyways, back to the list. All the parts, like I said, are right here. Now these are MSRPs, so these are pretty much like the full non-discounted rate. So let's say that something, well, let's go to something right here. So we'll go to plastics. These Meyer fenders, I collectively did them. So that was the tank cover, the front fenders, and the hood. The MSRP was $379.53. If they're on eBay for $350, you could probably save money there. So I just put the full MSRP and I included tax. So these are the prices that you could expect to pay. I'm sure many of you that follow me are aware, a lot of this stuff companies help me out with. So these may not be the actual prices reflecting what I paid, but this is realistically what it would cost if you were to do the same build like I did. But yeah, so everything is in here. I've got the companies listed here. So if you want to know what brand I used, and then the item is over here. The total for parts was $5,864.09. That includes services too. Sorry guys, my phone, man. That like services like powder coating. I have vapor blasting on there. and stuff like that. I've even got the title service from the PADMV in there of $40.50 to get a new title for this thing. So the total for parts was $5,864.09, and the cost of the blaster originally was $1,050. So the total with parts is $6,914.09. You guys are probably like, oh my God, why would you ever buy a Yamaha blaster for $7,000? Dude, anybody who's ever built anything, you know the prices, the cost to build something is just absolutely out of control. Now, if you go over here on the right, this is if I was selling the takeoff parts, which I am, but I just put estimated prices here because I haven't sold these things yet. The remaining plastics that I didn't use that I restored, I think I can get about 450 bucks for them. They're a discontinued item, and those ones that I have are in really good shape. So I do think I could pull around 450 bucks. And I have all these shipping estimates in here, so you can see 450 minus about 60 for shipping. The plastics are big, shipping can be expensive. Gives me a $390 profit. Then I've got the old crank. Somebody would probably buy that and rebuild it. Not 100% sure though, because cranks are pretty inexpensive for these. I'm not sure though. I just put 35 bucks, $15 for shipping, get $20 for that. That rear bumper, a lot of people have asked me about that. I think I can get at least $100 for that. That's a really rare item, and it's in really good shape. It just needs to be cleaned up. If you could vapor blast that, it would literally look like a brand new rear bumper. $15 shipping, $85 profit. And then the old seat, I made like 10 bucks on that. But basically, I'd be getting back around $500. And this is stuff that I'd like to put in here because if you're doing a build, it's something to consider. When you're looking at a machine, you may be looking at something and it's a little bit out of your price range, but it's got like aftermarket shocks or something on it that you don't plan on running. You can resell that stuff and recoup, a little bit of your money. So going back here, total after profit is about $6,400. So that's about what you could expect to pay before doing any labor. So if you did all the labor yourself, you'd be around we'll say $6,500 is about what it would cost to build a blaster like this. Now, this is something that I really struggle with, and that is the labor cost. So for labor, it's just difficult because what I do is so much different than other shops. I've estimated that it takes me, to do any given job, it takes me approximately 3 to 10 times the amount of a normal person. And that's because, well, I say a normal person, but like somebody who's just working in a shop, not filming things. When I film stuff, I have to make sure that it's perfectly good on film. I do a lot more research and stuff because if I'm relaying information, I want to make sure that's correct for you guys. And then I have to make sure that the lighting is right. Sometimes I'll even have to rearrange and reposition the machine so that it's in the correct lighting. Sometimes I go back, the audio didn't record or it doesn't look right. So I'll actually disassemble parts of the engine or whatever it is I'm doing and then reassemble it and refilm it. And it can just take a super excessive amount of time. So my labor rate would be so much different than a regular shop, but I work with quite a few and have a good amount of friends that are ATV shops. Not many people do what I do and just ATV restorations. The best estimate that I could get from previous builds and this one is that it would cost around $10,000 to $15,000 to have a shop build the ATV this way that you want. My gosh. So if you look at that, you're like, you're pushing like $20,000. I really don't know how accurate that is, but I do know that, when somebody says like, oh, I had my top end rebuilt and it was $500, and somebody's like, oh, that's a ripoff, my guy did it for $200. Service is no different than products. You get what you pay for. This blaster is actually a great example of that because when I bought the machine, I talked with the previous owner and he said, I think he paid $1,200 to have the engine rebuilt. And I mean, literally the cylinder bolts were finger loose. So you get what you pay for. Sometimes you pay a lot of money and you still get a junk job. That can happen too. But that's why it's so difficult to put a number on what it would cost or what you should charge for labor. So I'm curious if you guys are in the industry or whatever industry, I'm really curious what your idea is, how much you think it would cost if you were to take the blaster the way that it was when I first got it and give it to a shop and have them make it the way that it is right now. What do you guys think it would cost? So my total cost estimate is between $15,000 and $20,000 total, which is, it is crazy, but that's just what it is. So now you know what went into the original crispy chicken sandwich. You've seen how it rips. The thing is freaking awesome. I'm super excited to get this thing in the Top Quad series, put it up against the 300EX, the Polaris Trailblazer, and that Lakota 300. Man, it is going to be awesome. I just can't wait. If you did enjoy this video in any way, shape, or form, please give me that thumbs up. That really helps me out a ton. And also consider subscribing for other videos like this one. I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.